Welcome back to Misery Sports Co., the only podcast officially committed to reviewing the weekly performance of emotionally exhausted sports fan bases across America. I'm Zack, Director of Unrealistic Expectations.
And I'm Trevor, Senior Vice President of Explaining Why This Year is Different.
Today, we'll be conducting our weekly performance review of several departments, checking the mailroom for correspondence from distressed stakeholders, issuing a few moral victories with employees of the week, and later heading into the break room to talk about the 2026 NFL Draft.
As a reminder, nothing said here should be considered actionable optimism, really actionable at all. We want it on the record. None of this is actionable. We got
100%.
lawyers breathing down our necks.
Tons of lawyers. Before we begin the review process, though, let's pause for a quick word from one of our valued corporate sponsors.
This summer, the love story that shattered the world of NFL insiders and Redditors. What if the bounds of love were only a social construct and a passionate connection shared over contract details of 2019's second-round pick was so strong it could fly in the face of one of America's oldest newspapers? This June, follow the deep, romantic pining stained by chewing tobacco and smelling salts. One reporter willing to risk it all. One jacked up, grumpy coach who marginally cares about his family, I guess. It's Vrabini, the true story of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, starring Dave Bautista as Mike Vrabel and playing Diana Rossini. It's Academy Award nominee Timothée Chalamet. Vrabini, coming this June. I think that's going to be a hit.
It's going to win some awards for sure.
No
We appreciate that sponsorship. Thank you so much. It's time for the weekly performance review where we evaluate the fan bases that met expectations, exceeded expectations, or submitted another emotional expense report without receipts.
This is the portion of the show where we check the standings, injury reports. God, I don't want to look at injury reports. We'll get to that. And most importantly, the morale levels in the building. So, Zach, what you got for us this week?
Well, Trevor, I think we'll go to the Columbus Blue Jackets first. I had mentioned in our last episode a couple weeks ago that the wheels had come off. We were screeching down the road, and we are officially out of the playoffs.
No.
As mentioned, the CBJ made a coaching change, and they actually hired Rick Bowness, who
Bowness.
I had no idea who he was, but he literally came out of retirement. So someone pulled some strings. Yep. He came out of retirement, said, fine, I'll do it. We went on a heater. We had won like 11 of 12, and it was like 15 out of 18 or 19. We looked good. We were second in the division, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year, we just stopped winning completely. So more to come from Mr. Bowness in our mailroom, but yeah, just a rough ending, a heartbreaker. The team just didn't have the gas left in the tank. Really rough. But that's why we're at Misery Sports Co, Trevor, because that level of disappointment is just another day. It's another Thursday. Yeah, it's just another Thursday. I would go to the NBA playoffs as well. So Cleveland Cavaliers are going to the playoffs. They're going to be playing the Toronto Raptors. So an interesting matchup.
Ooh, okay. Did they get the 4
keeping
seed?
my hopes alive. They got the 4 seed, so they'll have home court. And if they were to advance, they'll play the Pistons, which isn't a terrible matchup. So we'll take it.
No. Yeah.
Wanted to shout out though the Charlotte Hornets. So we've covered the Charlotte Hornets in some deep dive, several weeks ago, and they made it through their first game. So they have a game actually tonight to see if they're going to be the 8th seed. LaMelo. So I looked at the stat sheet because it went to overtime, and eventually they won on like a last-second shot. LaMelo shot 2 for 16 from 3. He
Oh
just
my
kept
gosh.
shooting.
Yikes. Shoot or shoot, I guess. Dang. 2 for 16.
Yeah.
Confidence.
So, hey. Yeah. Let them keep shooting. They're winning. So, yeah, that's the biggest updates. We'll cover the Cleveland Browns in our break room. We're going to cover the NFL draft. So, more to come on the Browns. No haircut debacles this week where our head coach misses a photo op. So,
Forgot about that.
yeah.
Jeez.
Trevor, what do you got?
Well, like you said, we'll get to NFL. Pretty quiet around Titans neighborhood, which has been nice. So we'll get there. But Zach, it's almost time for my favorite sports time of the year, which is the NHL playoffs. I get so excited. I think the hockey playoffs are the best playoffs that we got going. I think college football is really fun. That's maybe a close second for me, but there's nothing like hockey playoffs, especially overtime playoff hockey is, I think, the pinnacle of sports. It doesn't get better than that for me. So the NHL has actually done something a little weird this year where the playoff games start on Saturday, and we got all the way to like, I don't know, today at 11 a.m. around noon without knowing the schedule. So teams had no idea where they were. I mean, they knew who they were playing and where they were going, but they didn't know when they were playing. The Stars finished with the third best record in the league. They finished on a 5-game winning streak, which was cool. They're going to play Minnesota in the first round, Minnesota's famous for not being able to get out of the first round. They're a big bruising team that at times takes dumb penalties, but they did trade for Quinn Hughes this year, and he is very good. He's, I don't know, definitely top 3 defenseman in the league. So dynamic. So that's going to be tough because yet again, I mentioned injury report earlier. The Stars are without our top defenseman, Miro Heiskanen, because he got hurt again. And just like last year in the first round of the playoffs, we didn't have him. And last year it was Jason Robertson, who we were also missing. This year it's Rope Hintz. So we are out our best defenseman, second best player on the team, and one of our top forwards. And so it's going to be tough. But that all starts this Saturday, and I'm just super excited because I love hockey playoffs. And mercifully, we can stick a fork in the Mavericks season because it's finally over. Just what a nightmare of a season. It was fun watching Cooper flag ball out at times. He's not going to win the Rookie of the Year, which I think is asinine. You mentioned that the Hornets won their game. At the end of the game, when they needed 3-pointers, Con Knippel was not in the game. They didn't even play him. And that's what he does. So anyways, I'm going to keep it positive. It's great. We love the Hornets. They're fun. I'm not going to get bitter about that. What I am going to get bitter about is getting out-tanked at the end of the year because we dropped from 6th to tied for 7th. And guess what? The way they settled the tiebreaker between us and the New Orleans Pelicans for the 7th spot is flipping a coin on draft lottery night. Is that stupid? We have coin flips?
Yeah, that's
really
absolutely
dumb.
wild. And so this is something that popped in my mind, and I wonder if other fans do this. So during playoff time, you and I especially, we jump on the teams that we're supporting when it's because
yes,
the Blue Jackets are typically not in the playoffs. So I am
That's
all
true.
aboard the Stars, all aboard the Mavericks, and I'm curious if other fans and friends, right, you just jump on because it's like like you said, NHL playoff hockey is awesome, and
So
I love the Dallas Stars. I'm here for it. You know, with the Cavs, you jump on the Cavs. If the Mavericks were in it, I'm all aboard. It's just it's a fun time of year.
I think that's especially true of folks who have a lot of stock at Misery Sports Co. because your team is not making it so frequently that you have to root for somebody. And as a lifelong almost lifelong fan of the Tennessee Titans, I can tell you there are many years where I have to find an NFL team to root for because we're not making it in. And I'm all in on the Cavs, man. I think this team's fun. I think they're going to mess around and do some stuff.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But we're going to step away briefly for a message from another one of our partners who continues to believe in this organization, honestly, more than we do.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the music. We don't have the budget for it this week. Have you ever been Have you ever been automatic off the tee but unpredictable after midnight behind the wheel? Then you need Tiger Woods Vehicle Recovery and Reputation Reset Clinic, specializing in getting athletes back to fairways instead of on front page covers.
Tiger again. I forgot that happened since we've talked last.
It seems pretty frequent.
Yes, it does. The first headline I saw was like, why am I getting an old story? This happened a while ago.
He's got to be somewhere between, I don't know, $500 million and $1 billion with a B. Like,
yes,
find someone you trust to drive a car for you. Like, it's absolutely wild to me that you can be in that situation. Like 4 times at this point. Not once.
So bad. No, it happens over and over again. Yeah. And it just seems like it takes so much time for him to work his way back into, hey, I'm going to play again. And then to have this, it's just a real bummer.
Maybe it's the long game, Trevor. Maybe he doesn't want to be back.
What if this is what he wanted? What if it was all set up with that? Was it a landscaping truck or whoever? Maybe.
Allegedly.
Hey, nothing actionable here. Is all alleged.
We don't know.
This whole podcast
we take your money.
is alleged. Yeah,
we take your sponsorship money.
And thank you.
All right, let's head down to the mailroom where the correspondence bin is full, and HR has asked us to stop reading comments out loud during meetings.
They're like, you gotta stop. We'll review the most notable submissions and determine whether they qualify as feedback, coping mechanisms, or official cries for help. Zach, you want to kick us off?
Sure do. I have the very opposite ends of the spectrum with this. So I'm going to open with Rick Bowness, who I mentioned, Blue Jackets head coach. He's going to be on for another year. So that's exciting. They signed him to a new agreement. But he was not happy at the end of the season. So here is Rick Bowness going off on our team.
Rick, you've been a part of a lot of games and a lot of seasons. Have you ever been part of something that's as frustrating as this has been down the stretch?
This man's about to cry.
Yeah, dude.
He's so mad.
And you know what? All you got to do is look at the stat sheet. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. Like, I don't know if I'm back, but if I'm back, I'm changing this culture. These guys, they don't care. Losing is not important enough to them. It doesn't bother them. Like, how can you go out and play like that? Should have done this about a month ago. But this is why we are where we are. This is why we're out of the playoffs. That kind of effort. Losing, you have to hate losing. I don't care if it's a meaningless game. I don't care. Show up and compete. 3 hits, 23 giveaways.
Preach.
What else you want to know?
You reached them for so long after you got here. How did it stop? Where did it stop?
Because it got tough. Because it got hard. Like we talked about after the Olympic break. It's going to get harder. So everything's good as long as it's going their way. And now it gets tough, we don't want to battle back. And that's what's happened over the last a couple of weeks. That's all that's happened. We're going to change that. If I'm back, I don't know if I'm back. Don and I will talk. We'll get to that. But man, oh man, some of those guys are so lucky the season's over and there's no practice tomorrow. Anyways.
Bones.
What else you want to know?
I think even in the long history of this franchise, I don't think they've ever lost 6 games in a row to end a season at home.
No.
Is that worse?
It's terrible. Inexcusable. If they're not embarrassed by, not only tonight, by that, they're on the wrong team. They are. They got to be embarrassed with that.
Hey, man, you know what, though? I appreciate someone that is open and honest, that's pissed off. It's got to be so difficult to reach multi-million dollar athletes. Like,
Yep.
they are set for life.
Yep.
You've got to get to them. You got to motivate them. So I appreciate a person that is transparent, says, this sucks. You guys didn't give us the effort. What's going on?
Yeah, totally. And he's been working to like handle it internally. I mean, it was like the last 11 games, they needed to win like 4 to be in the playoffs. So he's been working behind the scenes to motivate him. And what else do you do? And especially going into a new season when you're trying to adjust a culture. I mean, I love it. And Bones was great. So he was the Stars head coach when we went to the Stanley Cup final in 2020 in the bubble. It was Bones.
Oh, okay.
And love him to death. He and the Stars agreed that it was time to part ways, I think 1 year later. But I think this could be huge for the Jackets.
Absolutely. And I mean, I went to a game, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, right, against the Hurricanes, who are the top in the East.
Yeah, they're great.
And I didn't say this during the podcast, but when I saw them coming out after each period, there wasn't that fire. There wasn't we're going to dump the puck and just hit you in the face.
Yep.
And anytime the Blue Jackets have been good, it is straight goon squad. Like
Yes.
You might have a Panarin doing a little dancing here and there, but like, we're dumping the puck and then we're going to hit you really hard.
Yep.
And we're going to wear you out. And if you got your Gucci bags, we're going to knock them out of your hands because we're the goon squad.
Yeah.
And so I hope that's what happens next year. I hope they just bring in some tough blue-collared people. That's what Columbus is about. That's what
Absolutely.
we support. So
Yes.
I'm excited. We'll see what next year holds.
Hey.
I have one more, and it actually just restarted on me. So let me look it up. Barstool Sports. This is on the total opposite end of the spectrum from Sirius, if I can find it here.
All right.
This was posted 2 hours ago.
Okay.
We deleted a prior post of a viral video making light of a reporter seemingly using AI to come up with a question at a press conference. At the time of posting, we didn't realize this reporter was recovering from a stroke. In light of that, we decided to delete it.
Oh, no, I saw that video. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that. Oh man. She's like next to a dugout at a baseball game, right?
I don't know. I just saw that tweet.
I saw that video. Yeah, she's like typing into Chat GPT like good questions to ask for whatever. Yikes.
Yeah. Minor detail, but hey, Barstool Sports, we're calling it like it is. We apologize. So
that is honestly growth for Barstool, so we'll take what we can get.
All right, Trevor, what do you got?
I've got a couple things. I've got 2 entries this week. So I told you that the NHL playoffs were my favorite time of year, and previously it was the top 8 seeds in both conferences, and then it was just a 1 through 8 seeding like the NBA does it. So 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7. They have moved away from that into a really stupid format where now it's division based. So the second and third teams in your division play each other, and then the winner of that potentially plays the first seed in your division.
Stupid.
And so it's so dumb because the Central Division where the Stars are have 3 of the top 5 teams in the league, I believe. And so it's just murderer's row. So it's really stupid. So Tim Timothy, shout out. Says that Utah and Dallas are in the same division. Okay. Dallas will finish second, Utah in 4th. Dallas has 20 more points than Utah, and yet Utah has the easier path through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. It's so asinine, and I totally agree, Tim. It is absolutely ridiculous, and we are incentivizing not doing as well, which the Oilers manipulated last year at the end of the season to avoid playing the Jets in the first round, which was some garbage.
For viewers who don't know, in the NHL, a win is 2 points. So 20 points is 10 wins. That is a huge delta.
Giant.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally agree, Tim. Shout out to you. And did you know that former Maverick great Anthony Davis has a prank show on TV? Did you know that?
I had heard something about it. I haven't seen it, but I had heard something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's making the rounds promoting that and was on Draymond Green's podcast, which makes me insane that that's even a thing, but that's something probably for a different day. But he was sharing what was happening the night of the trade where he was traded from the Lakers to the Mavericks for Luka Doncic that I will never recover from, and I'll take that to my grave. Obligatory, what are we at? 21 minutes. Obligatory Nico Harrison. Can I get one?
Allowed.
All right, thank you. And so this is Anthony Davis reenacting the phone call that he's getting from Mavs GM Nico Harrison, I think while he's on the phone with LA GM Rob Pelinka.
Nico was calling me. And I'm like, Rich, I'm going to call you back. Like, hello? Yeah. I told you I was going to come get you one day. I wanted you. Huh?
So he was on this phone with his agent, not the LA GM. But literally the trade was so confusing that AD himself was like, what are you talking about? And he goes on to say, like, well, who would they trade for me? Like, it doesn't make sense anywhere else. And they were like, Luka. And he's like, why would they trade Luka? Like, yeah, exactly. Like,
Absolutely
so
wild.
So maddening. So thanks, AD. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it.
I feel for AD in this situation too, because you know, he's just a bystander. He got dumped for Luka at that point, and he's like, what the hell is this?
Yes. And for, let me tell you, for 2.5 quarters, it was pretty magical. It was, I'm not saying like I forgot about Luka, but I briefly understood what we were potentially in for. But did you notice I said for 2.5 quarters? Because that's how long it lasted before he got hurt.
Yeah, he has nothing in his history that would suggest injuries either, Trevor. So I don't know why that would have happened. But let's distance ourselves from that. And before we escalate any further,
I'm so miserable.
Let's take a moment.
I'm so miserable.
For another message from our sponsors. Trevor, who's our next sponsor?
It's been a while since we had this, but we had a sponsor by 2 ad spots. Money for us. The reviews are flying in for Verbini with a whopping 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics are raving for the love story of the year. The Tennessee Titans say, yeah, we all knew this was happening. Why are people acting surprised? The New York Times calls it confusing that you would ask us to review this. You know we employed her, right? And part-time film critic Mark Stoops says, I was pretty confused because they said, do you want to see an early screening of Timothée Chalamet's new movie? And I said yes, because I was sure it was Dune 3. I kept waiting for the sandworms to come out, but after 45 minutes of waiting, I was rooting for him to wreck Vrabel's home. Tickets are available now. It's Rabini.
Rabini. You know what? I don't know what your thoughts are on this whole situation. I think it's total BS that Vrabel can just be like, oh, it's, not a big deal. What are you guys talking about? It's nothing.
Yes. And just
she loses
not
her
do
job?
press. Yes.
Like, what?
It's so dumb. And like, for listeners who might not be familiar, so the Athletic, writer for the Athletic, Diana Rossini, resigned. Her contract was up soon, but she resigned because pictures came out on TMZ or Page Six or something, like holding hands with Mike Vrabel, and I don't know. It seemed like they were a little, but like
not like friends, Trevor.
Okay,
they weren't holding hands
they
like
were not.
friends.
They were in a hot tub together. It was hot. So, Titans fans, we've known about this forever because she would break stuff. Yes, she would break stuff about like. She was basically the mouth for Vrabel's camp. And we were like, the only way that she's getting this is because Vrabel is feeding it to her. And then there would be like, they were real friendly and all this stuff. So we were all like, okay, they're probably, but like whatever. But nobody cared because it was the Titans. And then this comes out and everybody's like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I guess. They've been doing this for a while. So
I had no idea.
That will all be covered in for Beanie. Yeah.
Yeah. Tune in and we will accept your dollars. I mean, the check cleared, so thank you.
Appreciate you.
It's time to visit the Office of Moral Victories, where results are optional, but effort is permanently documented.
This is where we recognize the individuals, fan bases, and moments that didn't technically win, but absolutely refused to lose hope responsibly.
I am really digging deep in the barrel here
Scraping
for the employee
bottom.
of the week. I'm actually going to have two, though. I'm going to shout out some older NBA players who have paid their dues and had a little bit of success the last couple nights with the playing games.
That.
So
I love that.
Shout out to Paul George with the 76ers. They won.
Paul George. Okay.
16 points, not a lot, but you know what? Let him live. Like, I loved Paul George in his prime. Pre-injury, Paul George was awesome for the Pacers.
Yeah.
Super entertaining.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
At that time, loved him. Yeah.
And the second person is none other than Mr. Stephen Curry. So at 38 years old, this man is still chucking threes, nailing them. He destroyed France in the Olympics this past year. That was, if anyone hasn't seen that, go on YouTube and he just completely decimated France. I don't know why I'm on that, but look it up. He went for 35 points, and they won their first game. So congratulations to Steph Curry. He still got it. Fun to watch when he's not playing your team.
100%. So my favorite Steph Curry, not my favorite. Can I revise that and say my least favorite real quick? Can I swing to the opposite and real quick? So early Splash Brother days, like early, I think it was the year. Remember they had that Memphis series when Mike Conley was there and Zebo?
Yeah.
Such a fun team. But I think that year I was living in Dallas and they came through town and we went and saw them, and I didn't know what we were really going to see. And he hit a last second shot, and then, with like there's 0.4 seconds, so like we lost. And he literally, while Clay and Draymond are coming to like jump on him, I swear to goodness, he looked up in the 300s. We locked eyes, and he waved at me to have a good night. And like, I was so upset, but now I look back on it and I was like, I'm so glad I got to see him. That was so cool.
And what's funny is last night he hit a dagger three, fell into the stands and started like dapping people up. Yeah. And they were like, all right, dude. Yeah, we'll see you later. Yeah. Good night. Have a good night.
Yeah. That was dope. That was really cool.
I'll have to pull out maybe next show. I'll pull out some audio from the Olympics. Like, I don't know. Ian Eagle's son was calling it. Who is it? Brad.
Noah.
I don't know what
Noah
his name is.
He's great.
Noah.
Yep.
He did a great job. He was just going bonkers, and Steph Curry was just hitting step backs, ridiculous threes to beat France. It was
incredible.
Awesome.
And Rudy Gobert's on that team, and that felt so good. It was cathartic, dude. Well, I'm going to keep it short. My employee of the week is Bones, because I thought that press conference was amazing, and I think it's exactly what the Jackets need, and I love him. I love Bones. So, Bones, congrats.
God bless Bones. We're going to wish him well for a year. He was supposed to be sipping, rum and cola on the
Yeah.
beach somewhere, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go out of retirement and I'm gonna clean up the Blue Jackets.
Dust
So
that jacket. I mean, if anybody can do it, I think it's kind of an a-hole like Bones is. I think that's what they need.
absolutely.
Well, we're going to take one final break before heading into the break room, irony, to discuss upcoming personnel decisions across the league.
Trevor, this sponsorship, I actually ran it by legal, and
Oh God, we
they
still
were
have a
they
legal
were
department.
shaking. We do. It's one person. They were shaking their head no on the Zoom call, but I assumed that they were saying yes.
Yeah,
I assumed yes.
that's right.
So they didn't verbally say it.
Yep.
So here it is. Are you a para-athlete looking for a place where nothing interrupts your training schedule? Try the Locked In Performance Academy, inspired by athletes like Oscar Pistorius on the track side and Dayton Weber on the cornhole circuit, who showed what true commitment looks like when the doors are closed and the routine starts.
Oh my God.
Now, everybody knows Oscar Pistorius, right? he ran around at the Olympics. Great story.
Yeah, for a while it was.
Trevor,
it was.
Who the hell is Dayton Weber?
Oh my gosh. Thackeray. Dayton Weber is a former part-time employee of the week that was rescinded because he's a cornhole
Allegedly.
player. He's a cornhole player that's on trial for murder. And and we're just we're gonna watch what happens. That's all I'm gonna say about Dayton Weber. And thank you for the sponsorship dollars. It's an important...
Legal said it was fine. Totally fine. All right.
I think technically we have to say legal didn't say no.
Didn't say no.
Those are the right
You're
words. They
100%.
didn't say no. Oh my God.
And I want to, I'm not going to go down that. Look up Dayton Weber, everybody.
Yeah.
Quite a story.
Also, look up Oscar Pistorius. Dude shot somebody.
Through a door, Trevor. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He's
Do
out.
some
He
Googling.
was
Have
released.
some fun. Golly. Thanks for
all
your
right.
sponsorship dollars. That check cleared quick. We're cashing that all the way to the bank, baby.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome to the break room where speculation is encouraged and long-term planning briefly becomes everyone's personality.
This week, we are getting into the draft because, Zach, it is only 1 week away. Can you believe it? It's almost draft time. Also one of my
crazy.
favorite times of the year because hope is never higher than draft night.
It's our Super Bowl. It's
It
Misery
is.
Sports Co's Super Bowl. Everybody in here.
Yep.
Come on.
Come on. Well, I'll kick things off because the Titans are picking 4th.
Okay.
I think the absolutely write it in stone pick ahead of us, obviously Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders. That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at some composite, like where they take all the mock drafts and put it together, right? So the database said that the 2 likely picks ahead of us are linebacker from Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese to the Jets at 2, with a little over half of the mocks, 51% going. The Cardinals are a wild card, no pun intended, but they are like the largest the largest percentage mock to the Cardinals was 27%. The Texas Tech edge David Bailey, who's great. If we drafted David Bailey, I would be super excited. But like that's only a quarter of the mocks, like a little over a quarter. So like we really don't know what the Cardinals are doing. They could do any number of things, but 63%. So we're talking like basically 2/3 of the mocks out there have the Titans taking running back Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. So here's the thing. You know me, as a Titans fan, I love a good running back. That is our bread and butter, right? That is what I've grown up on since Eddie George. Literally the reason that I'm a Titans fan.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I could be talked into it and get excited because the tape is great. Jeremiah Love seems like a totally normal person who's kind of like a football robot and is just going to go home and like watch anime and chill, and you're never going to have to worry about him. But I don't know that that's what we need right now, is spending the 4th pick on a running back. What are your thoughts on that?
So Field Yates, one of the ESPN reporters, has Jeremiah Love as his number 2 overall player.
Behind Mendoza.
Behind Mendoza.
Wow.
I love Jeremiah Love. I am all about it. He's a playmaker. You get the ball in his hands, he's going to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's one of those few running backs that I think could make a difference. I'm not going to say he's Saquon Barkley, but it seems like he's similar to that.
Yep.
And both the Titans and the Browns need playmakers. So if either team,
no doubt about that.
It doesn't matter where you're at. If you can score a touchdown, come on board.
What if I told you that our offensive line is 12 kinds of
Well, you know.
Does that change things? I'll tell you this, we have 1.5 good players out of 5.
Don't you guys have a ton of like free agency money or something? Just toss some cash at people.
Yeah, we just kept waiting for like we let our center walk, and we just kept waiting to sign another one, and it really didn't happen. And like we've spent the past 2 drafts. You go over here. So obviously last year was Cam Ward, but like the 2 before that, our first round picks were J.C. Latham, a tackle who has been okay. Again, I'm over Alabama linemen. Just, can we be done? I just want to be done. And before that was Peter Skoronski, who is great. So he's the 1 out of the 1.5. He is fantastic, but he's a guard. So like, I don't know. I could be convinced that like having that dynamic of a playmaker at running back is going to open things up for Cam in the passing game. I could be convinced of that. And I think if we take Jeremiah Love by I don't know, mid-May, I'm going to be stoked and like, we're going to the playoffs. This is going to be amazing. I will talk myself into it. I just think that with Saleh being a defensive coach, if we had a dynamic edge rusher, like let's say Bailey's still on the board, right? Let's say Bailey's on the board, Cardinals go a different way. If it's Bailey versus Love, if you're telling me that we could pair damn near the 2 best defensive tackles in the game, like 2 of the top 5 for sure, and then you add an edge like David Bailey to that line, I don't know. At least one side of the ball would be like really good, and I wouldn't have to worry about that. And then you're asking your offense, can you score 17 points a game?
And I'll say this too. The dude from Miami, Ruben Bain. Yeah. I don't hate him either. Like, he was dominating Ohio State.
We saw a lot of Ruben Bain, and it was great tape at the biggest moments.
Yeah. So I wouldn't hate him either. No, I mean, if you need an edge rusher, there's a lot of good edge rushers. I will preface this by saying, and I think I can speak for both of us, we are not like player experts. We're not going to, we haven't watched tape on every single player, but from what I'm hearing and from what I've seen, the tackles in this draft aren't as strong. So there's not like a
Yes.
Joe Thomas coming
Correct.
out that you can draft and be like, oh
Yes.
yeah, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
So, I mean, the other thing would be trading down, right? I mean, you could trade down for some picks.
Yes, and I don't hate it. It's been floated that the Cowboys could trade 12 and 20 to move up to 4, and I think you jump on that. I think that sounds fine. We need bodies. We're one of those teams where it's like there's so many holes in this team. Like one player is not going to make that big of a difference at 4.
Yeah.
And before we kick it over to the Browns, I will just say, in this, it pains me to say this. It really does, because I'm such an Ohio State homer and I love all of our players. I think I would have the hardest time talking myself into getting excited if we draft Carnell Tate. And I think he's going to be good. I just think at 4, it's not, I think we would both agree, Carnell Tate is not Jeremiah Smith, right?
Correct. He's a clear-cut number 2.
Yes.
He's not a number 1.
And I would have a hard time talking this is coming from a team that drafted Corey Davis at, was it 4? 5. At pick 5. We drafted a wide receiver out of Western Michigan. And if you're asking yourself who is Corey Davis, yeah, that's the point. So like I would have the hardest time talking myself into that being a good idea versus any of these other guys. I would take Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles would be great.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to worry about like a linebacker running your defense. I would take him. But sorry, I'm rambling. Kick it over to the Browns. The Browns pick at 6. Zach, tell us what you're thinking there.
So at 6, if we stay there, it's split. So it's split between one of those tackles, like you mentioned, the Utah guy, the Georgia guy, Freeling, I think it is, Fano, and then also Carnell Tate, as you mentioned. Now, the reason why I would be happy with Carnell Tate on the Browns is because we have no one, Trevor. We have Jerry Jeudy and a bunch of scrubs. And Jerry Jeudy led the league in drops at one point last season. So I just need a dude that can get open and catch the ball.
Yep.
And Carnell Tate can do that. Do you agree? I want your thoughts. When I see Carnell Tate, I think of T. Higgins from the Bengals.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Like, they have Jamar Chase, but they have T. Higgins, and T. Higgins is really good.
Yep.
Really good. You want him on your team, but he's not like the guy.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great comparison. And I think that like anything that you can do to give that offense options is good. And one thing that we never had to worry about with Carnell Tate was dropping the ball.
Correct. 100%. He gets open, he catches the ball. I will take it all day. Now, it's funny that you mentioned the Cowboys because Mel Kiper in his latest mock draft actually had the Browns trading with the Cowboys and doing that same deal, right? So getting, 12 and 20, and we would trade them 6 and 39 in the second round. So if that happened, we would have 3 first-round picks in the draft because we have the Jaguars pick.
That's right.
I want to say it's 24.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So if he, Mel Kiper in his mock draft, if we did that to number 12, he projected us with Caden Proctor, the Alabama tackle.
Buddy,
that's
I'm
the
here to tell
one
you.
dude I don't want.
I'm here to tell you that's a bad idea.
Both of our teams have done the tackles from Alabama. Jedrick Wills at Cleveland, he was our left tackle. He just stopped playing football. He's done.
Yeah.
He said it was a business decision when he brought himself out of a game. Like, I'm done with that.
That's tough. I will say that, like, Chance Warmack was fine, but he was a guard, and we spent the 10th pick on a guard, which seems stupid. But he was fine. Like, he was fine. But we did pick Georgia. I would submit Isaiah Wilson as the worst first-round pick in since 2000. Like, absolutely awful. So I get it. You better be sure it's like Joe Alt or something, which we missed by like one pick. Yeah, I will tell you, Zach. So I was looking at this, the database that kind of consolidates all of the mock drafts out there and puts them all together. And they have at 41% with the 6th pick is Carnell Tate is the most popular pick for the Browns. Interestingly, at 24, the most popular pick with only 15%, so a lot of variability here, is another wide receiver, Cooper Jr. out of Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So stocking up on weapons for that offense.
I don't hate. We need all offense at this point. It's wide receivers. It's tackles. Our defense is going to be pretty good. Mel Kiper in that 3-pick scenario actually had on our 24th pick from the Jaguars, Jermod McCoy, a cornerback from Tennessee. No idea who he is. Sounds like he's good. I'll take his word for it.
Yeah.
But we need all the offensive help. Our defense is totally fine. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I mean, there's just studs everywhere. So,
yeah. Let me hit you with this.
Yeah.
Say you do the Cowboys trade, right? So your first pick's at 12.
Mm-hmm.
If for whatever reason, and I think I'm only hitting you with this hypothetical because, full disclosure, I listen to a lot of Dallas sports radio because I lived there for a while and I still like the station. And they have talked themselves into this being a possibility. I don't see it happening. Say in a fantasy world, you're at 12 and Jeremiah Love falls to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking him at 12?
100%. If it's the Browns, yeah. All day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. Slam dunk. I'm getting Carnell Tate. I'm getting Jeremiah Love. And then I'll find an offensive tackle at 24. Yeah. We just need people that score touchdowns. We don't have that. It's been an epidemic. The last question I'll leave you with is Fernando Mendoza. If you were the Titans, right, and you didn't have Cam Ward, and this is a question for all the viewers and listeners at Misery Sports Co. If you were in like the top 5, would you trade to go up to number 1 and get Fernando if you had a need at quarterback?
Yes, I would. Yes, I think it would take. I'm trying to remember the Rams haul that we got the year after Marcus. Was it 2 first rounds or 3? I would, whatever they wanted, I would go up and get him. I believe in him that much. I think the most convincing thing for me was that as the moment got bigger, the throws got better. And I'm, like you said, I'm not an expert in the tape. I can't break down. I don't know ball, okay? I'm a self-admitted, I don't know ball. But from a fan perspective, I watched a lot of those Indiana games, and as the need got greater, I just felt like he got better and better. I would sell the farm for Fernando Mendoza. Now, do I think the Raiders are going to do well with him? I don't know. They might run him into the ground. That franchise belongs at Misery Sports Co. But what would you do?
I'm torn. I completely agree. He seems like he processes, the field really well.
Yep.
He got freaking smoked in the Big Ten title game and came back and just
that hit. Was that Reese?
Willed his team to victory. I think, it was Reese or it was Caden Curry just crushed him.
Yeah. Man, he got hit.
And he came back. He shook it off. He played a great game against probably the best defense in college football. So, I think he's got a bright future. I don't know what his ceiling is. That's my question.
Yeah.
I get Kirk Cousins vibes a little bit. I think he's a little bit more elevated than Kirk Cousins, maybe.
Yikes.
And it's ironic because Cousins is on the Raiders. So it'll be funny to see how they interact.
You know what? I totally see that too. Yes, they are very
maybe
similar.
Personality more than performance.
Yes.
They're both goofy.
Absolutely. They are really goofy.
I think Mendoza was a better college quarterback, but I'm interested. I'll be rooting for him. He seems like a good dude.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that concludes our weekly review here at Misery Sports Co., where accountability exists, but results definitely vary.
Be sure to submit your weekly reports, emotional reactions, and completely rational predictions for next week's evaluation cycle.
Follow us at Misery Sports Co. on Twitter. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Pocket Casts, wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there.
We are there. And guess what? We'll see you at the next meeting.